everyone. I'm Beth Fisher, and here's what's coming up on News 3 at 6. They call themselves Keepers of the Wild. And today, this Arizona Refuge for Wild Animals gives us an exclusive look at the dangers of working with tigers. Roy's recovery.
He is able to communicate with doctors, with friends, with visitors.
Why doctors are calling it a miracle. And why a local rescue group says the attack is no surprise.
This is News 3 at 6 with Kendall Tenney and Beth Fisher.
The local story that people all over the world are following. For the first time today, Roy Horn's neurosurgeon talked to the media and said it's all but miraculous the illusionist is still alive after he was attacked by one of his tigers.
The 59-year-old entertainer is still in critical condition, but Dr. Derek Duke says he's pleased with Horn's progress. We have top story team coverage tonight with Denise Roche on the care and training of tigers and Ben Correa at UMC on Roy's current condition. And we'll begin with Ben. And Ben, close friends say the entertainer's strong will is really an asset right now.
They say every minute that passes increases his chances of recovery. Those that know Roy Horn say he's a strong man and willing to accept the challenges ahead of him. Well, early this morning, a press conference was held, and Roy Horn's doctors and managers provided an update on the 59-year-old's condition. They say Horn continues to make progress and is responding to treatment. Horn's neurosurgeon also set the record straight about rumors involving the legendary magician.
He is not now, nor has he ever been, in a drug-induced coma. While we are very pleased with his progress, Mr. Horn remains in critical condition, and it will be quite some time before we know the full extent of his recovery.
As for the tiger involved in the attack, managers say he has a bright future, or the animal has a bright future. As for the show, the Siegfried and Roy show, it is closed indefinitely, which means several hundreds of workers are out of a job. MGM Mirage officials say, as for the MGM employees, about 200 that worked in that show, they're in the process right now of creating a compensation package. Details will be available later this week, and we'll bring them to you. That is the latest from UMC. Ben Correa, back to you in the studio.
Ben, thank you. The rich and famous have been calling and sending notes or flowers to Roy, including Anne Margaret, Elizabeth Taylor, Mick Jagger, Michael Jackson, President George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, even Arnold and Maria Schwarzenegger and Shriver. Siegfried and Roy's manager says it shows how much they touched people during their decades of performing in Las Vegas.
Once a wild animal, always a wild animal. That's what the owner of a big cat sanctuary south of Hoover Dam is saying about the attack on Roy Horn. For 15 years, Jonathan Kraft has operated Keepers of the Wild. It's a nonprofit group that rescues and rehabilitates all sorts of wild animals. Denise Roche went out to the sanctuary today, and Denise, Kraft says even though Siegfried and Roy are the best of the best, no doubt about that, he says he's not really surprised by the attack.
Jim, Kraft says bites simply go with the territory when you work with wild animals, although this is clearly an extreme case. Now, here on the website for Keepers of the Wild, you can learn about some of the animals that Kraft has rescued over the years. Clearly, though, his favorite, his specialty, is big cats. Kraft's animals come from a variety of places. Some were rescued from backyards and sheds where they were kept as pets. Others are retired show animals or surplus stock from zoos that no longer wanted them. Kraft says even though he works with the animals every day and they've grown to trust him, he never forgets they can turn on even the most experienced trainers like Horn.
You know, he knows the risks that he takes, as do I, and it's inevitable that, you know, you're going to get bit sooner or later, maybe not to this degree, but it's hard to speculate what exactly happened. You know, maybe the cat was spooked before it came on stage, maybe the cat just had a bad day.
Just yesterday, a volunteer at the sanctuary itself was knocked to the ground and bitten on the leg by one of the tigers there. That worker did spend the night at the hospital but will be okay. Now, as for Kraft, although he used to be a strip performer himself, he says he no longer thinks that wild animals should be on the stage. From the newsroom, I'm Denise Roche for News 3. Jim, back to you.
All right, Denise, thank you. Kraft has about 120 animals at his sanctuary. He plans to eventually build a 32-acre facility with more natural habitat.